Right, let's try that again. Welcome, everybody, to our weekly session of Mindset Matters. And we, as usual, every week are always buzzing with excitement. I have with myself Maher, my co-host and co-founder of QBN. And our topic today is protect your energy and eliminate distractions. And what a fantastic topic that is, because we all are probably privy to this somehow. We all need the advice we can get. Even those who give it need it. And that's the beauty of what we do. We all are. So Mahir is on the call. He is a disciplined leader, accomplished entrepreneur across multiple sectors. And what I love about what he does is he's got a diverse set of businesses, from distribution to manufacturing to commercial real estate investment. Not only that, he dabbles and trades actively in Forex, crypto, and stocks, and has the linguistics of four languages, allowing him to connect globally. And I watch him do that beautifully. Beyond that, he's a seventh degree belt in Shaolin Kung Fu, a true reflection of decades of discipline and mastery. My favorite role that he holds is the fact that he is the co-founder of QBN, and that's why we are all here today. So, Mahir, welcome, and let's start the topic. I'm sure everyone's going to be super excited because we've decided to power up the calls in 30 minutes.
Thank you, Shazia. Thank you. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you guys. Yeah, today's topic is very special, but I want to thank you as well. Shazia has been an amazing co-host with me. We've been the dynamic duo, as we call each other sometimes. And it's been a blessing getting to know her on such a mental level, I would say. Beautiful woman, entrepreneur, so accomplished, and PhD in education, and so many uh, uh, talents and degrees and focus behind her. Besides being an amazing mother, she has a book called Love and Leverage: The Freedom Code on Amazon. So if you haven't bought it, it's an amazing book. I'm sure that she would appreciate your support. But beyond that, I think everyone here will benefit from that book. I've already started to read it and already diving deep into it. So congratulations on that accomplishment, Shazia. Today's topic is very meaningful to me. And they all are, but today particularly, and a lot of entrepreneurs on this call can probably relate. Eliminating distractions. We would not be where we're at without having that ability to eliminate distractions. And eliminate distractions is takes effort. It doesn't come effortlessly. And so today we're going to be talking about, some things that you can do to help you eliminate some distractions we have in our lives. People think that the most valuable resource we have is time. And this is where I like to correct people. It's not time, it's energy. Because you can have all the free time in the world. You have 8 hours of free time, 10 hours of free time. But if you're emotionally drained and you're mentally scattered, you won't do anything with it. If you're distracted, that time is worthless. Yes or no, Dr. K? Yeah, I see you nodding. So it's the energy that we need to protect, And so for everyone here today on this call, if you could think of one app or one habit, or maybe even one person that kind of leaves you feeling drained or leaked or just takes a lot of your time, make a note of it. Make a mental note, because the first part of accomplishing and overcoming that is being aware. And so today's objective is, what are we fighting for? We're fighting for that cognitive sovereignty, the right to own your own thoughts. And so distraction and how we're going to overcome them is going to be today's topic. Yes or no, Shazia?
Absolutely. And you're spot on when you say time versus energy, because we all fall into that mindset of time. But like you said, if you don't have the energy, that time is not, you're going to be busy, but not productively busy. So it's super powerful for everybody to recognize that. And a reminder for all of us, even for myself.
Yeah. Can I share a screen with you guys?
Sure.
All righty. This is called family time.
I haven't seen, oh yeah, now we see it.
Do you see family time nowadays? Is this your family? I mean, does this happen more often than not?
Absolutely.
Are we creating distractions with social media, with our phones? I put this together the other day, and I thought I have to share this with the group because this is a representation of sometimes of where our society seems to be headed. With our cell phones. And one habit that I have in my home is when we sit down at the dinner table, no phones are allowed. No phones are allowed at my dinner table. Even myself, as busy as I am. So, what are your thoughts about that, Shazia?
What you're sharing there, I'm just going to put out there. How many of us probably, or many of us probably don't even have that. Sorry if I've muted you by because I was just muting everybody as they were distracting. But many people don't even have the congregation at dinner anymore. Everybody's coming in and eating and leaving and swaying. So just the fact that you've got a picture there and the fact that you all sit together is an accomplishment in itself. Because I've seen so many families now that, we've got different shifts and different times and different agendas, and people are just helping themselves. And that community or communal time has reduced significantly. And I can see a lot of nods and just say yes if you agree. And that's what we need to, I would say, change and bring back because that's missing. That's what's affecting the current generation as well. We grew up knowing that whether we wanted to eat or not, we had to sit at the table and it was an expectation. But these days, it's completely opposite.
Yes, it is. And there's a quote or saying that says, starve your distractions and feed your focus. I want everybody here to listen to this. It's very powerful. Starve your distractions and feed your focus. I mean, I thought that was such a powerful, just few words and statement. And Marcus Aurelius, you guys know I love Marcus Aurelius, and I quote him almost every single Zoom session. And I have one that I want to share with you. He says, ask yourself at every moment, is it necessary? Look to your left with all the unnecessary distractions, and there's a lot more of distractions on here because you also have, family, coworkers, people that distract you also that drain your energy. But most of this is social media. And then look at those thorns and that rocky road. And then you have that clear path. So, at every moment of your life that you feel a distraction coming, ask yourself, is it necessary? And so, I really, you guys follow me on a few social medias, but when was the last time I really posted anything? I think it was back in December. I made it a point in my life to not be on social media, to not get my phone, and I do have lots of businesses, and I do have to focus on those. And so let's talk about a little bit about today about how to overcome some of these distractions. Why don't we talk about all the different types of distractions? So we got social media, we have phone,
Telephones.
anything else, and people write in the chat if you think of anything that distracts you and keeps you from being productive. Um, you know,
I feel on the internet, when you're doing something, you get a lot of pop-ups now. These adverts pop up and they can distract you from what you're doing. We have too many tabs open when we're working. We need to shut them down because we start on one activity and sway over to another one. Things like that. I think it's that, as you mentioned, we're all privy to it. And I felt even today, as I kept my first fast, that I actually put my phone on silent at certain times because I knew that I needed to protect that time. And we know the techniques and we know the strategies, but we often just don't do them. We consciously need to do that because the phones are here now. People, I'm sure, Maher, you wake up to tons of messages in the morning. If we pick it up first thing, then we're sucked into it, and our energy, as you've just quite rightly shared, is gone. But it's dedicating the time.
I want to talk about what I call the no muscle, NO. Now, Warren Buffett has a quote, and I didn't write it, down, but it goes something like this: the difference between successful people and really successful people is that the really successful people say no. So let's discuss the no that Warren Buffett is talking about, and that no muscle that I'm talking about today, and how powerful that is, because it's so easy to just, somebody wants to gossip or just go be unproductive, and you just get caught up in this conversation that you thought was going to take a minute or two, and you're 30 minutes into it, or somebody asks you to do something that's not focused in your direction or your current task, or maybe somebody has maybe you're working on a project, and you get a ping on your phone, and you spend, instead of replying, you start searching all your other messages. So saying no is such a powerful tool in what we can accomplish today. So recognizing that, first of all, that you are approaching this moment of distraction, and then immediately catching it. We talked about the amygdala effect the other day, and recognizing that something is there re-engages your frontal cortex, and I think that's a very powerful start in recognizing these distractions. Yes or no, Shazia?
I believe that so. And I was just scanning the our participants room, if you like, wondering who we could spotlight on that particular question, because I
I,
think we're all guilty
I
of
have somebody.
saying yes, aren't we? Where we
Yes.
feel obliged to do things. And it's not just saying no. I believe, like you said, for a telephone conversation at a time, that may be your focus. But it's generally, I think we take on more tasks sometimes than we can manage. We just don't want to say, we feel if we say no, we might offend the other person. And that's not the case. It's protecting the quality that you can deliver.
I'd like to invite a personal good friend of mine. Let's see, there you are, Cheney. So Cheney is a very successful entrepreneur. Her and her husband Adrian, good friends of mine, known them for many, many, many years. And very accomplished individual, all about mindset herself. And Shazi, I'm actually gonna connect you with her because she loves the empower movement that you have, and
Amazing.
helping women across the world. But Cheney, thank you for coming on. And I reached out to you earlier about this topic, and you said you could share some before. So let me hand the floor over to you and ask you, in your success in life, what was some of the challenges that you had to overcome, or how did you uh, find the discipline to overcome some of the distractions? And was distractions a nuisance or a part of your inhibiting your growth, or not?
Um, Thank you so much for the floor. I really appreciate the opportunity. I come from a corporate world. I worked in corporate since I was in my early 20s. And then when Adrian opened up the window tint business, it took me a while to step out of that mindset of clocking in 9 to 5, waiting for my manager to approve my PTO and all that stuff. But then once I, drank the Kool-Aid and came over to the entrepreneur world, there was a lot of the things that I did in the corporate world that I actually brought over to keep me very disciplined, keep me very focused, and not be distracted. Because, I still kept a lot of the mindset of, I need to make sure that I stay focused and have some type of structure. Adrian is the face of the company, so he is definitely not a 9 to 5 mentality. He's all over the place, but in a great way, because a lot of the ideas that he brings to the table, he basically says, "Here, honey, I've got 10 ideas, and I need you to help me put them all together." And so that's what we do. Is we definitely take all those on. And then come up with a better solution or just a better rounded idea so that we can implement that and into our business to make it successful. As far as, as far as just staying focused and shutting out the noise for me, it's in this industry, because it's a male dominated industry. I actually had to really fight for my place. I mean, I've had people that come to me and said, "What are you doing in the window tint industry? Why you could go and do something else?" And the more I learned about this industry, the more I realized it's not just about window tinting a vehicle. It's a business where you can go into the automotive, the commercial side of it, the residential side of it, and then we added graphics, we added car wrap. So there was so many aspects and element into this business. And it got me very excited. And for the last 20 years, this is all I know. Like as an entrepreneur, it opened up my eyes to so much more. And I realized that there's not a lot of women in this industry. And so my goals in the last, 10 years, really, the focus has really shifted for me to say, why not empower young women and those that may not have a vision or direction to go into this industry. And so that's what I've been doing is really being the voice for this industry, for more women to join this industry, because it's a business mindset. It's not, oh, I'm just going to wake up one day and become a window tinter. It's not about that. I teach the business mindset of it. How do you open up your own window tint company? How do you run it as a business? How do you take it from a $20,000 a year to a seven-figure business? And so that's what I pour in every day to our students.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and congratulations again on all your accomplishments.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about identifying some of these and how techniques that we can use, all of us here today, we can use in helping. So let's take the first one. Let's take the phone distraction. So the moment you feel, and this is a little bit of what I do or I share with my family, the moment you feel that itch, to grab your phone, you experience that urge, you name it. It's like you actually verbally say, I have the urge to grab my phone. If you verbally say it, you're already acknowledging that something, and that's what we talked about, the amygdala effect, is you're switching from your reactive to your emotional brain. And so naming that effect. Secondly is once you get that tightness, so you got to identify what is it that's causing the urge. If you still have that urge, are you feeling tightness in your chest? Are you feeling relentless in your hands or fog in your brain? So don't try to make it go away. Just notice it. Take a deep breath. And we always talk about, every session we talk about the power of taking deep breaths. And I know Pilar and I talk about meditation and breathing all the time, and many of you guys on this call, we talk about the power of taking a second and taking that deep breath. Last week, we talked about controlling your emotions and using that breath. That's it. This is a great time. Once you acknowledge that you have that urge or that habit to get on social media, you stop yourself, you mentally say it, you physically say it, and then you take a deep breath. And that relaxes you and re-engages your brain into the focus and task that you're at. I want to bring in a quick little slide here, Shazia.
Sure. I was just going to say, while you bring it in, the way I've managed my distractions now is I started blocking time. So, for example, if I've got to do some emails, I'll have to put the phone on silent, because it's things like that make you want to move around. So it's about quality than quantity. So scheduling what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do. So like Thursdays are going to be when the offer letters go out for the college, so we know when the calls are. So really on my calendar, everything is now blocked. So I know that this has to be done at this time, and that saves the distractions of, forgetting. It's written down. I don't have to lose my focus, and it gets done. And I think that has protected a lot of the time. I do a lot of social media, but hey, it's still protected.
This is what you were talking about, having multiple windows open.
Yeah.
You even have somebody here with a phone. Hey, you got a message. We're laughing at this, but it's true.
It causes overwhelm, doesn't it?
You're working on one task, but then you have so many windows open. Oh, I got to check this. I got to check that. And then you're getting bing from this, from that, from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You got somebody saying, hey, your phone is going off. So the next slide is pretty cool, because once you start eliminating distractions and creating focus, and then you can concentrate, see how the phone is down, the screen is off, all the social media. Now you're starting to focus and that focus is what helps you accomplish that task. And then you got, submitted, okay, task accomplished. And that's what eliminating distractions does. And I want to share some fun facts with you guys. Teens are spending nearly 5 hours a day on social media. And so here's some of the mental health. 41% of teens with a high social media use rates their overall mental health as poor or very poor. Okay. Another fun fact here. People worldwide spend about 6 hours and 45 minutes on screens every day. Now, this is not just social media. This is your phones. The average US screen time has reached 7 hours, 2 minutes, 41% of teens. I mean, so you guys can read the overwhelming amount of hours we spent, people spend around the world on their phones, on their social media. In 2025, over 5.24 billion, representing about 64 to 66% of the global population, are actively on social media and using their, averaging between 2 to 2.5 hours a day. Facebook being number one with over 2.5 billion. And then you guys can read this, and it's growing. It's here. Social media users increased by 4% in the last year. You spend average of 141 minutes a day. And I did the math, by the way. Let me turn off my screen sharing.
All right. It's turned off now.
It's turned off. Okay. I did the math. The average turned out to be over 2,400 hours a year. Do you realize that's 100 days in the year? Think about that for a second. 100 days of the year, we're wasting our time on social media, browsing these commercials, browsing, posting here, posting there, watching other people's videos, making them rich with your likes and they're creating their purpose because they've engaged you. We're the audience now. And so we spent on the average of 100 days of our life. Life is too short, guys. Let's make something of it. Let's focus on the task on hand. Let's focus on goals. And that's why these sessions are so important, because it brings these realities to perspective. Too many, and the next generation, we're talking about our kids. Our children are born with a cell phone in their hand. I didn't have a cell phone until I was like a senior in college. I mean, in high school, and a lot of us on this call can relate to that. But now children are born. Your 1-year-old is grumpy, and you give them a cell phone to watch a video, right?
And yeah, so because they're digital natives. They're born into it. We're digital immigrants who had to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
we've got a question, Maher, in the chat from Jet, and Dr. Jet says, "How does energy change as we age, and how can we maintain it?" A really good question.
How can we maintain?
So how does energy change as we age, and the energy that we obviously put into what we do, and how can we maintain it?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. Thank you, Dr. Lee, for all your questions every week, because these questions are questions that a lot of people would like to ask that sometimes we don't ask. But so the way I maintain my energy is, and we've talked about this in several topics before, and you're smiling, my circle of friends. I have a very small circle of friends that are like-minded. So if my friends are not distracted by phone calls and social medias, and we're like-minded and we're moving in the same direction, then that is one of the best ways to maintain your energy. The people are around you. Are they helping you become more productive? Are they challenging you to do better? Or are they draining your energy? Hey, let's go party, let's go drinking, let's go out and just have some fun. So check yourself and check your circle of friends. That's one of the most powerful way, Dr. Lee, that someone can maintain their energy. Now, our energy changes as we get older. And Pilar is nodding yes, because she completely, we've had this conversation many times. Our energy changes, and it changes based on your frequency that you have from the people around you. And it all goes back to your circle of friends. Because, my energy is all about mindset. It's about, and that's why we're doing these sessions. How about yourself? How would you answer that?
I mean, when I think about the question, I think as we age, we change in our hormones change, our energy levels change that way as well. So I'm thinking from Dr. K's medical and Dr. Jet Li. So I feel that good food, maintaining what you eat, your
Oh,
exercise, your
yes.
water is really important. If you need to take some good quality supplements, if that's important as well, because it's just about I always use the example of when I used to be in the aloe vera business. Your body is like a tap as well, and if we don't look after it, we're not going to detox. We're going to also clog up. So it moves from the mindset to fitness and health as well, and that because if you're sluggish and you're not feeling great, it's going to affect your mindset. Don't you agree, Maher? And that then takes away the motivation to want to do. So your circle of friends, absolutely, but also the things we talk about always, your mind, body, soul. You've got to take care of all of them. So I think this is really important.
Absolutely. And you hit it right on the money with that because, and then I had this conversation with my son Malik, who came to visit with his friends. What are you putting? Because I saw them eating junk food, and I go, what is that junk food doing to your body? What we put on our body is so important. And he's
Malik
joining
is
me
here.
now.
As you
Yeah,
mentioned his name, I see him come
yeah.
in.
Malik, we were just talking about you. So we were talking about the energy. So yes, exercise, your diet, and your rest. And so my trainer told me, he goes, Maher, in order to accomplish a mental state, a physical state, if you're not taking care of your diet and your rest, don't worry, don't spend your money on hiring me because physical exercise is just a small portion of the formula. It's that diet, it's that rest that you get at night. I know most of you guys do, and I'm not pointing any fingers here. How many of us on this call, right before when we get in bed, have a phone in our hand and we're browsing through our last social medias and doing the last likes and getting that blue screen in our eyes and in our mind. I practice a habit, and before I go to bed, I put my phone in my charger. I set my alarm, which I wake up before it, but I just leave it there, and then I just breathe and relax and just let my body, decompress and rest. And those of you that have that phone in your hand right before you go to bed, sometimes you're having active dreams, sometimes you're having restless. Yes or no, Dr. Takei? You as a medical doctor are very well aware of the danger and damage we're doing ourselves when we're going to bed with that technology in that distraction in our mind. So great way to preserve your energy is to set your phone down half an hour to an hour before bedtime and decompress. So great question, Dr. Lee. Thank you for asking it. Any other questions in the chat or any other?
No, it's just Dr. K mentioned she got her cell phone after she finished medical school. But I guess everybody, before we end the call, need to think about how they're going to protect their boundaries now or put a plan. They say we talk about it, but how about implementing it? So let's see in the chat. What are you going to do from now on to protect, even if you do something, one thing you've started? Like I said, for me, it's been putting things scheduled now. I schedule, even with the college, I say all offer letters are going to go on a Thursday. Because what was happening was you can be doing lots of things in the day. Someone's coming through, an email's coming through, a request is coming through, and you're just, Chani, you'll probably agree this from the corporate sector, you're bouncing around doing all these different activities. But if you schedule everything and you let everybody know that this day is for this, and this day is for this, and this day is for this, you're more likely to be more productive. So that's worked for me. Scheduling my diary, exactly knowing what I'm doing when. So let's see what comes through in the chat. I can see
Yes.
some. Limit my phone time, avoid drama. I like that.
That's a good one.
Chinese put, for me, as I've aged, have been more protective of my energy, shut out the naysayers, and have been more selective of the people who I allow in my circle. Love that. And if they don't add value, they don't belong. And if they don't show signs of some of the same interest, then there's no point in me investing my energy into building a friendship. Lol, it's simple as that. How beautifully put.
Very well put. Absolutely. And I'm trying to pull up you can continue talking while I pull
Small,
up
and
one
another one
article.
by Darius, set small goals and let them compound. I love that. And by the way, Darius, my next book is about the unforgotten formula, the compound code. And I've already started working on it because it is truly, people think that compound happens too quickly and they want to see the results in the first 30 days. You've got to be able to compound in all areas of your life, whether it's love, relationships, money, finances, whatever you do. Once you start building it, the momentum comes later. So people need to learn to see that. They want things too fast, too soon. And that's, I believe, is the forgotten formula. So you're absolutely
Absolutely.
right.
And in talking about this topic, I always like to come up with sayings and quotes. And there's something that I put together that I want to share that I think is pretty powerful. You guys can see the screen?
Yep.
In a world that is constantly screaming for your attention, isolation is the ultimate competitive advantage. If you can't stand to be alone with your thoughts, you'll never be the leader of your actions.
Love that. And it's
Yeah,
by Maher Awad. So it's original to him. And that makes it even more valuable and beautiful, I would say.
so
And
let's
that's why we all gel together in this group because we all think of different things, but we all align with the originality of our thoughts. And that makes
absolutely.
everything really fantastic.
Well, let's wrap up this call. We're right at 34 minutes. And any final closing words, Shazia?
I'm just checking the chat again, making daily routines. Excellent. And are you going to have a digital copy of your book? I will work on that. I'm definitely for you now. The Kindle. I'm new, you see, so we learn. And my final thoughts would be to everybody, next week, we'll be back. Everything that we've done from defeat, fear, rejection, rewiring your mindset, visualization, the power of your inner circle, turning your pain into purpose, mastering emotional control under pressure, protecting your energy and eliminating distractions. I would say next week, Maya, if you agree, just have the permission to be uniquely you, to remain authentic. Stop trying to fit in the mold. Learn how your unique story and your personal style are your greatest business and personal assets for attracting the right people. Because what you've just said there and your quote and what a lot of people have said, we are too busy sometimes. And what Shanae said as well, if they don't fit your mold, don't change yourself for it. You be you. The right people will come to you. They say, don't they, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Your
That's all
vibe
from me.
attracts your tribe. That's a powerful topic for next week. And so let's go with that. I like it. In closing, I'd like to thank everybody for being on this call. You guys have been all a blessing in my life, whether I know you in person or you're my neighbor or we work together in QBN or we just talked on social media. I've met a few good business partners through social media. Speaking of distractions, some good had come out of it. But to everyone on this call, thank you for being here. Your support and your love is
And
felt.
Mahir, one more thing.
Yeah.
We're going to promote the Spanish call on the Saturday. Remember?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. So every Saturday. So you guys know I'm a co-founder of QBN, and this session is powered by Qminds, one of our ecosystem platforms. Every Saturday we have a call in English, and then we also have a Spanish call, corporate call. These are corporate calls that is a business presentation about what QBN is about, and if you guys would like to learn more about it, you don't have to quit your jobs to do this. People have jobs and continue doing QBN. Some people have retired from QBN, like Dr. K, medical doctor, has been able to retire thanks to QBN. But we do have a presentation every Saturday in both English and Spanish. And if you'd like to be a part of it, just reach out to me and we'll send you the link so you can participate. That about an hour long and takes you through our journey of what we've done with QBN. Again, thank you for being on this call. I love you all. God bless you. Many, many blessings to everyone here. Ramadan Mubarak to those of you that are fasting, Shazia, and many blessings. We'll talk to you soon and see you next week.
See you next week.